Hello, 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 hello. So, today we will be doing the first tarot readings for the new year. And as part of that, I have this fluorite wand, which I'm going to be using to just gently brush your energy and going to be pointing at you to fill you with positive energy. The decks that I'm going to use this month, I'm going to use my TaroT Mukha deck, and then I'm also going to use some other Art Nouveau style decks, the Art Nouveau Lenormand, and my astrological oracle cards. And to go along, grab my lighter, sorry, to go along with the purification, we're going to be starting a new year. So anything that you want to leave behind in 2020, just direct it toward the flame. Let's do some breathing together. Breathe in and hold and release, and just release everything that you've been holding on to that you want to let go of. And breathe in and hold and release. Breathe in and hold and release. Great. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. I have this stick of frankincense. Also, I love frankincense. I'm just gonna blow a little bit of this smoke all over you. And if there's anything else, I'll give you one more chance since we're starting a new year. If you have resolutions that you'd like to make, anything that you'd like to leave behind, just focus your intention and release any negative energy into the candle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Hello, Leo. So, first I'm going to set the stage for your reading with these astrological oracle cards. Really love these cards. They have lots of shine and sparkle to them. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pull out the Leo card and the Sun card and go ahead and put those in the first house because this is the Leo reading. These are the astrological signs of the zodiac cards. And I'm just going to shuffle these a bit. And then I'm going to deal them out. So we've got Capricorn in the second house, Cancer in the third house, Scorpio in the fourth house, Aquarius in the fifth house, Aries in the sixth house, Taurus in the seventh house, Pisces in the 8th house, Gemini in the 9th house, Libra in the 10th house, Virgo in the 11th, and Sagittarius in the 12th house. And I'm going to deal out the planets as well. And then I'm not going to read the cards just yet. I'm actually going to lay out your Celtic cross spread over the top, and then we can read the whole thing together as it becomes relevant. It can add a few extra layers of meaning. And I did pull aside a Lenormand deck to do clarifications, but I might not need to, depending on how the reading goes. I haven't needed to clarify every reading so far. Alright. Mars, Saturn, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, and then I'm going to put Uranus over here. Alright, so let's deal now the tarot cards. Alright, I do see a lot of reversals. It's not necessarily bad. We had the Star card jump out in the reverse for your current position. So this represents you at this time, Leo. It could be that you feel like you're right on the cusp of really breaking through. Crossing that, we have the Knight of Swords. This could be embodying your energy at this time, being very analytical and very, this is air of air energy. Maybe you have air sign energy in your chart somewhere prominent. But could also be because it's crossing you in your querent position. It could be somebody who's helping you out during this time. Could be an air sign person who's helping you achieve this star moment. Let's look now at the past. We have the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Feeling like you have to be on your guard, feeling like you have to defend something. This being in the reverse, I feel like you don't have to do that anymore. That's over here by not just the first house with the sun in Leo, which we put out intentionally, but it's also touching on Mars in Capricorn. It's being your second house of possessions. Capricorn is how you're using the things in your environment to serve you. And Mars energy is a very active energy, so you're an active participant in that. It also is over here touching on your 12th house a little bit as well. You have Sagittarius in your 12th house. This is your fellow fire sign. It's possible that you have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart. Having to do with the spiritual fire inside that helps you elevate yourself. We have Neptune then on top of that. Neptune has a lot to do with nebulous possibility. It's a planet that's very far away from the sun in our solar system. A very watery energy, which is very interesting to pair with that Sagittarius energy. So this could be all of these things coming together. You no longer feel the need to defend this, whatever it is that you have felt the need to in the past. Let's look at your current state of affairs. So just to describe this briefly, this is going to be the truth of the situation. This is your perspective over here, and this is the outside perspective over here. We have in your current state of affairs influence of the moon and Saturn. And this card falls on the 4th house, which is home and family. You have a Scorpio card there. That is other people's resources. So it could be about household resources. It could be about, there could be something to do with death. There could be something to do with sex. And the moon being here, that can be emotional things, can also be things that are hidden. Saturn is about concretion and about establishment, things that take a long time to develop, but are very stable. That also is touching on your 3rd house of communication, where Cancer is located. Cancer is emotions, and your emotions as you express them and reciprocate them from other people. And then the 5th house over here being Aquarius. So creativity, art, this air sign could be an Aquarius helping you out with an artistic endeavor. And the card that we have there is the 5 of Swords in the reverse. The 5 of Swords is a very aggressive energy for a card, and it has to do with winning a victory but losing all your friends. Victory at the expense of companionship. Here in the reverse, you might see it as being companionship at the expense of victory, possibly. This could be a victory that is postponed, or it could be a victory that belongs to someone else, possibly an opponent. But let's keep looking at the cards. I might have to clarify this, we'll see. So over here, very close to Mars in Capricorn in your second house, this is going to be your perspectives on the matter. Let's find out some more about that. It's the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. It's feeling like you're very well off and very fortunate financially during this time, but it's not enough to take you where you want to go, which is okay because you have some very excellent energy in that house. Let's look at the outside perspective here. And it's a very fortunate card to have, the Nine of Cups. It's a wish fulfillment card, so there will be a certain amount of wish fulfillment there. And I think from the outside looking in, others see you as having everything that you could possibly desire. Let's look now at the future. Oh, around this wish fulfillment. So we have Aries in the 6th house. This could be the start of a new daily routine or health regimen in January. We also have Mercury here. Mercury is a very intellectual planet and can have to do with, it can have to do with short distance travel, quick things coming in or going out, can have to do with communication, ideas. Mercury has a very airy energy too, so here it is on top of Aquarius. With that air energy in the 5th house, there could be something coming in having to do with creativity or art or romance. Here in the future, so we have a little bit of this Mercury in Aries influence. We have a little bit of Taurus here in the 7th house in your reading. And Taurus energy is very fixed, earth, grounded, very grounded. It's a very healing energy. And Venus is here as well. Venus being native to the sign of Taurus and also to the sign of Libra. We have Uranus kind of straddling the whole thing. Uranus is about innovation and about iconoclasts. You could be headed for a very iconoclastic moment because in the direct future you do have the Death card upright. And I might come back and clarify this card at the end of the reading, just because like getting a Death card in the future is a good opportunity to clarify. Let's look at the hopes and fears. So here in the 8th house we have Pisces, which is about endings. The 8th house itself is about endings and new beginnings. And that also kind of influencing this Death card here. We've got Pisces influenced by Venus. And a little bit by Uranus, but not so much. A water energy with a lot of potential, but a lot of nebulousness to it as well. Murky waters. Murky waters. Murky waters. Your hopes and fears position, you have a Two of Swords coming out. And it could be that there is some situation in which you hope that you have a choice, that it is not so preordained that you don't get to weigh in and weigh your options and be the final deciding factor in a certain situation. Let's look now at this is your destiny, your goal or destiny. You've got Gemini here in the 9th house. So Gemini deals a lot with dualities. And it's interesting. We've got Gemini in the 9th house. We've got Libra in the 10th house. To me, Gemini is duality. But then Libra runs perpendicular to that energy and is about equality and parity between two things. How are we different? How are we alike? That sort of dichotomy running perpendicular to each other. So, Gemini in the 9th house, that's all the things you do to elevate yourself, and it can also have to do with travel. Gemini is about communication with others, ideas that you share with others from the inside out. Whereas when you're looking at Aquarius energy, that's more like a group think energy, right? And then Libra, in your 10th house of career, you're looking for parity and equality in some kind of work environment. The planets that we have influencing these houses, we have Venus coming in a little bit over here on the side, but we also mostly have Jupiter and Pluto, so an ending, but also wealth and expansion. And what's very interesting about this is that Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn have all been clustered tightly together in Capricorn for a lot of this year. So Capricorn's not over there, but we do have Jupiter and Pluto. And then we're also looking at Virgo in that 11th house. So like an analytical energy surrounding this groupthink. We'll get more into that when we talk about the final outcome. But here we have the 8 of Wands, and it's in the reverse. So this could be something that's very drawn out and doesn't end quickly. Or it could be that it isn't coming yet, but when it does, the resolution to this situation is going to be very swift. Let's look at this final outcome card, and then I am going to pull some clarifiers for that death card for sure, and then depending on what we have here in my hand, I may end up pulling clarifiers for this as well. Just don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We have Sagittarius here in the 12th house. That's your fellow fire sign. It's a mutable energy. And Neptune. There's a lot of potential here, but there's also the same dichotomy of water energy versus fire energy. Water being receptive, fire being active, Saturn being mutable, which makes it a little bit more of a receptive fire sign, and then Neptune being a kind of a masculine or an active energy in its own right. So a lot of convoluted roles here in the 12th house. A lot of shifting. People might be shifting around you, shifting their opinions, shifting their ideas. And the 12th house being about endings also psychic awareness, and leading to new beginnings. And the card that I have here in my hand is the Seven of Wands in reverse. And this kind of goes back to what we saw here with the Nine of Wands in reverse. That you are putting down your weapons. You're no longer choosing to be aggressive in these situations. The Seven of Wands in this future position could be about, and I do think I'll clarify this one as well, because it could be about a couple of things. It being in the reverse, the same thing with this Eight of Wands. It could be something that hasn't come in yet, but will be attack from all sides that will come in the future. But another thing that it could mean is that you no longer feel like everyone's against you. Giving away that feeling, understanding, especially because we have Neptune and Sagittarius here, understanding that other people have their own motivations for doing things, and that it's not always about you and about your feelings about things, and that their motivations might be purely their own, and they probably aren't against you. We also have a little bit of this Pluto in Virgo energy kind of edging in from the side. So Pluto in Virgo being endings, but also a very analytical. Virgo also is a mutable sign, a mutable earth sign. A lot of attention to detail in the 11th house. That could be a group of people really picking something apart. Pluto bringing an end to that. And that also being about the end of feeling like everyone is against you. But I will pull maybe a few cards for this, and I'm definitely going to pull some cards for this. So, to do that, I'm going to bring out my matchy Lenormand deck. I love Art Nouveau. I just love Art Nouveau design and concepts. All right. Which is this card for? I feel like this card is for over here. The Tower, control. Okay. So we'll look at that first. And that definitely makes sense. This choice, wanting to have a choice. Wanting to have control. Wanting to be in control. We have a woman here. This could be you. It could also be about women being in control in a certain situation. If you're a man, you might be working in a setting where you have a lot of women around you, or there's a lot of feminine energy around your workspaces. And we have a gentleman. So, this could mean also this could be about control in relationships. This Lenormand deck is very heteronormative, but they did come out facing each other. It could be about very different people coming together to work on something, and your desire to have control over a situation. But the thing is that these forces are very balanced. As cis and heteronormative as some Lenormand decks might be. I mean, I really love the artwork in this deck, so it's not like I'm going to stop using it, but it's important to also think beyond the idea of women and men being in relationships with each other, and thinking about the alchemical process of prima materia and how that is represented by the combining of masculine and feminine energies into something that is much more powerful. And I will pull one more card about this, and then I'll pull a card about this as well. We do have the Star card coming out now in the upright, and as I've mentioned before, the Star card in Lenormand is basically the same as the Star card in the Tarot. So while the Tower card is quite different, the Tower card is about authority, it's about control, can be about government structures as well. The Star card is very much aligned with the same meanings as the Tarot. The Tarot is kind of inverse of the Lenormand Tower. And finally, let's draw one card about this Seven of Wands. And I feel like I drew the very card that I needed. We do have the Fish card coming out for that. The Fish card is money coming in. And so if you did feel like you were under attack in the past, a lot of times money fixes, people say money isn't everything. Money isn't everything, but it does make a lot of your problems go away. And if you then have new problems because you have more money, that's kind of on you. That's kind of, there are ways to avoid that, definitely. But it does look like you will have money coming in and an exciting change in your future. Thank you. 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 Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. And until next time, I hope to see you again very, very